We've all been there, right? You get an email, a pop-up on a website asking you to take just a quick survey. So you do. You spend a few minutes clicking through, trying your best to remember what you bought last week, and then you hit submit. But what if I told you that a huge chunk of that effort, well, it was pretty much wasted? It's a totally fair question. You give your time, you share your thoughts, and you kind of hope it's going to lead to better products or services. You assume your feedback is a valuable piece of the puzzle for these companies. But for a surprising number of them, that assumption, it's just wrong. And look, I'm not exaggerating here. The hard truth is, for a lot of businesses, your thoughtful feedback might just end up in the digital trash can. The old school way of gathering opinions is so fundamentally flawed that it often creates more noise than clarity. So let's pull back the curtain and see exactly why. The core of the problem, the real dilemma, is all about the data itself. For decades, companies have been asking us questions in a way that, as it turns out, is incredibly unreliable. And the cost of that bad data? It's staggering. Just take a look at this number, 38%. Let that sink in. That's how much survey data just gets thrown out because of quality problems or even straight up fraud. That means almost 4 out of every 10 answers you give could be seen as totally useless. This isn't some small margin of error. It's a massive blind spot for any company trying to figure out its customers. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. It all comes down to 2 very different ways of asking. The old way is basically a memory test. It asks, hey, what did you do last week? And let's be honest, our memories are kind of terrible. But the new way, it completely flips the script. It uses technology to see what we actually did, the store we walked into, the website we visited, and then it asks the much, much more powerful question. Okay, why did you do that? It's a huge shift from testing our memory to understanding our motivation. And this simple but brilliant switch from focusing on what to focusing on why is a total game changer for consumer research. It's all about getting to the real truth of an experience by starting with, well, reality. Let's take a look at how one company is making this happen. So one of the solutions is something called vSurveys Plus. Now that V is the most important part. It stands for validated. That means your feedback is directly tied to a real verified action that you took. And the plus, well, that just adds another layer of real behavior, like the apps you were using or websites you were on. It connects what you say you did with what you actually did. So how does this actually work out in the real world? It's a really simple but incredibly powerful 3-step process that combines real-time observation with perfectly timed questions. It looks a little something like this. Okay, imagine you walk into a coffee shop. Boom, that's step 1, your behavior is observed. Then step 2, technology instantly confirms you were really there, which triggers a survey. And finally, step 3, a question pops up on your phone almost right away. It doesn't ask if you were there, it already knows. It asks why you were there, capturing your experience while it's still fresh. Now, this whole thing works because of one critical concept. And that concept is called the point of emotion. It's this simple but powerful idea that the absolute best time to ask someone about an experience is right after it happens. I mean, think about it. Your opinion on a movie is going to be way more passionate and detailed right as the credits are rolling, not a week later. By asking why in that crucial window, companies get real, authentic feelings, not just fuzzy, half-forgotten memories. All right, so the method is definitely smarter. But what's the actual payoff? Does getting this better, validated data really lead to better results for businesses? Oh, yeah. The numbers absolutely speak for themselves. The payoff is huge. Quality research isn't just some academic exercise. It drives real business outcomes. You can see it here. It starts with a 30% boost in the accuracy of their decisions. That extra accuracy then leads to a 25% increase in how happy customers are, and all of that flows right down to the bottom line with a 20% lift in profitability. Better data really does mean better business. And this isn't just theoretical. You have major brands like Under Armour using this exact approach to understand their customers in ways they just couldn't before. This quote says it all. By validating what people do before asking them why, they got a clear look at a customer group that, until then, was basically a complete mystery. So, we've seen how this helps companies make smarter moves, but let's bring it all back to us, the consumer. Why should we care if companies are getting better data about our habits and our feelings? Because at the end of the day, it leads to better stuff for us, plain and simple.
When our feedback is actually heard and understood because it's based on truth, not a faulty memory, companies can finally stop guessing what we want. They can build things that solve our real problems and design experiences that we actually enjoy. Your opinion finally starts to count for real.
And that's really the big question to leave you with. In a world that's getting scarily good at tracking what we do, the most human part of the equation, the why behind it all, suddenly becomes the most valuable piece of information there is. It's the one thing technology can't just observe on its own. And it turns out, it just might be the key to everything.